Hello everybody, welcome back to not Bloom. That's the next clan I need to do, but that's not right now. Welcome back to DiceClan. Because this is the last one of this current set before we swap back to Bloom Clan, we're gonna do my usual, let's oogle the kitties, because why not? I will look at this, even though I probably will forget that I've looked at this and do it once more for episode 31, but it's fine. We're not gonna do any patrols or anything. Okay. Blackpaw is dealing with green cough. Brindle doesn't care about joining. Blackpaw is pregnant. We encounter Brindle. Ceremonies. And we don't need to worry about any new apprentices. Okay. Let's go to the cats. Here's our leader, Darkstar. Current deputy, Rockleaf. Snoot Tooth, or Snoot's Tooth. Jade Trail. Where's my diction today? Dazzle Chase. Drift Chasm. Nightingale Trot. Rift Thorn. Snapdragon Burst. Pike Stripe. Iris Heart. Whirlwind Pond. Water Dash. Hail Pelt. Umber Tips. Cricket Belly. Corpse Dapple. Summit Call. Weasel Stripe. Clove Pelt. Smoke Streak. Whisper Willow. Flaxfoot. Storkpaw. Saltpaw. I really do love these new sprites for the apprentices that are fluffy. They're so cute. Cloverpaw. Running Paw. Rapid Paw. Abyss Paw. Bumbleheart. Dandelion Streak. Actually, let me look at you healthy real quick. Okay. There is a chance I might pull some of the DiceClan cats, like how I'm gonna pull some of the Bloom Clan cats for Tales of Razi designs when I'm a bit more into getting the cats done. If I see a cat that I think I could just convert to be a pre-existing character. Before I get into adding more characters. Sunspot. Plume Summit. Fallen Paw. Spotted Stripes. Dapple Storm. Raptor Pelt. Bush Roar. My brain just says the Power World thing where it's Rushmore. I'm sorry. Ant Muzzle. Cinder Lion. Glen Chumble. Malik Shimmer. Neil Bumble. Pepperjack Speck. Zumato. Elder Fade, who actually looks like if I make them healthy. I don't know why I'm being dumb about this. Look, it's Sasha. You could say this is Sasha. Yellow shade. Chasing pelt. Chasing patch. Lapis claw. Della nose. Ghost heart. Mojo leg. Snowy drop. Hickory crest. Leaf shiver. Arrow lily. Elm fin. Who looks pretty similar to how I have Sapphire. My character Sapphire from Tales of Ozzy. Not completely, but still. Carp Cave. Cameron Beck. Icicle Chaser. Orzo Ember. Bentley Fleck. Danable. I will say this, when it comes to drawing cats, I don't like having them just be a plain color. It's boring. Oh, I've been abandoned by Cinnamon. Look over, she's no longer there. But she was there last episode. Owl Arch? Actually, that's some of the interesting markings there. Cliff Pelt. Stone Whisker. Okay, the broken up rosette looks really nice. Uncle Butter. Panther Leaf. Dumpling Shock. Rocky Claw. Pepper Jack. Fur Rise. Valehaven. Lupine Swirl. Hollyhock Fern. Stink Mink. Granite Catcher. River Swirl. Icicle Spawn. Ernst Crustle. Lake Fleck. Grayberry. Air Egg. Pat Whisker. Dove Burr. River Shiver. Tricklehawk. Volcano Sun. Ashen Tail. Missile Stone. Lilac Light. Twig Patch. Daisy Shade. Lyregull. Tempest Claw. Phylox Ash. Brindle Speck. Logmurk. Oleander, who needs their name changed. Silver Catcher. Catcher? No, Chaser. Jesus. Rooper. Pinnacle Nettle. Fire Stripe. Keyboard Shiver. Sky Flicker. Beetle Bubble. Who I do think is very pretty, mind you. Oh, no wonder I think they're pretty. They're a tortie. Actually, that's a nice way to do torties. Toad Rise. Yucca Paw. Blackpaw. I love how their name is Blackpaw, or Black. And while technically speaking they're mostly dark gray with like some bluish rosettes, they have a single white paw. I could headcanon that paw started off as black and it turned white. I could do that. In regards to their permanent condition, while it's not realistic, I probably, in ToR, would not give them the paralyzed condition, because realistically speaking, they're not going to survive. At most, I'll be like, maybe they have a permanent weak leg, or they're missing a leg. Is probably the way I would do it. Instead of having them paralyzed, I would probably have them missing a leg, have a weak leg, or missing a leg and have the other leg on the same side be weak. Would be at most I would do, probably. Or even have the opposite leg be weak. Where it can be hard to move around, but they can move around. Because realistically speaking, they're not going to survive. Oh my god. Like, as a domesticated cat in a house, they're fine. In the wild, though, they'd be dead real quick. It would be next to impossible for them to be living this long. Because not only are they dragging themselves on the ground in the wild, which can create sores, there are a bunch of predators and whatnot. Plus, I feel like in ToR, if they're not born in a group of power, their parents would just kill them. If they're born in the group of power, it might depend on the leader and the leader's belief, along with the healer and their beliefs. They might not even give the parent a say in the matter. But if they were paralyzed from like a barrel situation where it was like an accident or from a tree or something, they probably would be mostly condemned to camp, but they'd be given options to do whatever what they want in camp. If they want to fully retire, be a healer, work on camp, like just build a camp, entertain kids, help strategize for fights. Like, I don't see them being really allowed out of camp if it would happen in ToR and they were allowed to live, if it happened post them being born. I really think in ToR there's a higher chance of them being murdered for that, unfortunately. In a faction, though, they would just be killed. Which kind of sucks. 'Cause it does. But if they're born in the group power or a very caring colony or stray group, chances are they're fine. It's just, as stated, they probably wouldn't be allowed out of camp much, and if they are out of camp, they're with at least one other cat to carry them potentially if needed. Probably preferably two. If they are in, like, actually, if they're under Slade's rule, they're probably getting killed if they don't want to be a healer or a caretaker, to be honest. Under Slade and Competent for Shadow Force, that would be a death sentence. Under Falcon and the cats that follow for leadership most part, and the prior leaders, they'd mostly be condemned to camp with a minimum of having to have 2 cats come with them, 1 for protection, 1 to carry them, and maybe a 3rd cat for scouting. But as stated, for the most part, I actually don't think Falcon would let them not choose their own rank unless they're a Molly. If they're a Molly, he might be a bit more criticizing. The only thing he would bar them from is being a fighter, or the subsequent ranks that come after fighter, enforcer. Well, probably scout as well, but in hunter. And now I think about it, well, they can fish. It would just require someone to carry them down to the river. So they can still hunt. It'd just be 100% a fisher. As for Cophylidon, they would probably be condemned to camp and any type of camp activity they want. They would, under most leaders, be allowed to learn how to fight and whatnot, and expected to be still able to learn how to fight if they want, retire if they want, healer or whatnot. They don't really have a full ranking system. River Valley, it can depend on the leader. Once again, they probably condemned to camp unless they want to be a healer and be carried around, or a fisher and carried around. They can't be a land hunter. Because how River Valley works is their main bits of ranking system is healer, caretaker, and then hunter and fisher. They would not be able to be a hunter because of the fact that they have to drag their legs if they're paralyzed, kind of deal. So they would be a fisher whether they liked it or not, if they're not a healer or a caretaker. But once again, while they can get around on their own, it's probably outside of camp they would have someone help them, just be on the safe side, because there are predators and whatnot. So I guess I'm giving you guys some random lore. In regards to this, but in most cases, it depends on the leader for if they're born from a stray, or on under a more cruel or judgmental leader or healer. Chances are, if they were born like that, they would be killed. Or just abandoned. Like, if it happened post, kithood and whatnot, or whatever they started going out about, it really depends on what they are. If they are in a group of power, as stated, it gets afflicted by who's leader and how their morals are and whatnot, and what they allow for ranking. And the only reason why I'm going to put Falcon in a positive of likely not to immediately kill them is because they have a large amount of healers who don't take his shit. If they can have a say in the matter, they will enforce it, and they're not afraid to use claws. Because Anik is a visionary. And while most visionaries do not want to force visions, she'd probably be willing to force a vision to see him off, and Falcon knows that, so he tries not to piss her off. And Shadow Knight, him and Shadow Knight's relationship is complicated. I'll get into that probably in a Tales of Razi video later, because he's the most dominant out of the healers, and technically speaking, Falcon wanted him as a fighter or an enforcer. And Shadow Knight is a healer. So, Falcon, technically speaking, fears Shadow Knight because he's bigger than him, and obviously a really talented fighter. Like, one of the things I plan to do for third draft for Tales of Razi, on a side note, is actually to have Falcon be alive long enough to show dynamics between him and Shadow Knight, and how things would get affected. I have roughly figured out some stuff into a darker AU, but I'll get into that in a different one. Also, we're gonna only be looking at living cats this episode. One, because I've been rambling for about 20 minutes. Okay, here's Ferret Paw, Spruce Paw, Ibis Paw, Mud Paw, Rain Paw, Python Paw, Totem Paw, Iris Paw, Tall Paw, Orchard. I love how that says Heather Blue, but I just read that as purple. Icy Paw, Bleach Paw, Twilight Paw, Eagle Paw, Rapunzel Tooth, Carnation Lake, Heavy Claw, Cricket Speckle, Eddy Trail, Growlithe Flash. That looks good. I love how it looks like they sparks little fire on them, so that kind of works. Partridge Curl, Flip Kit, Frigid Kit, Meadow Kit, Fly Kit, Fish Kit, Almond Kit, Rubber Kit. I feel like if I did put this cat in Tails around there, I would turn them more bluish. Otherwise, Gray Kit. And that's all our kits. And outside our clan, we currently have Doornotch, Frita, Alma, Puddle, Nerva, Humphrey, Wally, Brindle, Slinky, Tumo. Okay. Current state of our herbs. But with that said, this will be it for this episode. And I will see you all in the next episode of DiceClan. When is that, actually? The next episode of DiceClan is in October. October 14th. So the next episode of DiceClan will be October 14th, 2026. The episode that follows this week will be Bloom Clan's return, because this is episode 30. So I'll see you all in the next one. If you guys want me to go into more depth in regards to some stuff in regards to Telrazi, either comment down below or check out my second channel. I do have stuff dedicated for Tales of Razi for me to ramble about. Where every other month on the odd months, I am rambling about Tales of Razi at least once a month at the end of the month. aka the last Saturday of the month. I post a video for Tales of Razi on every other month. So with that said, I'll see you on the next one, and if you want to check out more of my content, go right ahead. Like and subscribe, or even check out my second channel, which should be linked down in the description. But I'll see you guys then. Bye!